2021 was again a year when the stated hypocrisy of the Malayali suffered a vital stroke because dowry had to be addressed. The turn to the digital, it has made possible large numbers of women opening up, writing themselves, writing their bodies, writing their desires onto public spaces. The Great Indian Kitchen made us realize that there is a terrible stench coming from not only Malayali's kitchen but also Kerala's popular terrain.
It is very rare that an avalanche of big events powerful enough to seriously challenge the way we live gets packed into a single year. 2021 is such a year. 2021, the year Kerala changed its DNA, is on Manorama's attempt to take stock of the radical transformations set off by these big events. In this section, leading gender academician and Dean of Faculty of Arts in Kerala University, Meena T. Pillai, tells why patriarchy will have to step down from its high perch after what happened in 2021.
I think 2021 has been seminal to Kerala as far as gender issues are concerned. Now, the reason why I say that is because it's not an explosion that happened all of a sudden. Kerala very wisely invested in gender, I think, over the last 20 to 30 years. The kind of investment that was made as far as human development indices are concerned with regard to literacy and other things, all this have started paying off dividends. So you see a huge number of women in Kerala's public spaces, large numbers of women in decision-making bodies. So there definitely has been a paradigm shift. But the shift that I want to say brings in a change in DNA structure would be something else. I think it's a change that has been brought in by a different kind of media possibilities, a mediality that was not there earlier. Now this media intervention that I'm talking about has made possible, especially with the turn to the digital, it has made possible large numbers of women opening up, talking about their little stories, talking about their specific oppressions, writing themselves, writing their bodies, writing their desires onto public spaces, which I think is a phenomenal achievement. To listen to so many women, to know that they are all speaking, to know that there is a certain kind of a labor that was rendered invisible all these decades, it's all coming out now. And this has been made possible by the digital turn to a large extent. The fact that I'm talking to Manorama online, and I'm hoping that this will remain as maybe a testimony to 2021. It bears witness to a certain kind of investment that the state has undertaken. So that's the first point. As far as I'm concerned, this is a structural change that has happened in Kerala's social and cultural sphere. That said, there are a number of issues, definitely. Women's questions around gender are not all that rosy. There are so many issues, there are so many oppressions that women undergo at multiple levels. Dowry, for example, 2021 was again a year when the stated hypocrisy of the Malayali maybe suffered a vital stroke because dowry had to be addressed. Two deaths, especially Vismaya's, and the other was Uttara. So two young women having to die because of these issues. I think it was a blow to Malayali's hypocrisy and also to the ways in which Malayalis would normally sweep it under the carpet and pretend that these things didn't exist. We can no longer pretend. The good thing as an academic, as a teacher who's teaching young women, I would say is that parents are more aware now. Parents are aware that their children, the girls, are not to be sent to homes where they would be scripted into other kinds of stories, where they would not have a voice. So I think that kind of an awareness, along with some of the multiple ways in which dowry is trying, there's an attempt to combat dowry, makes 2021 stand out. Say for example, government employees having to give an undertaking that they will not take or receive dowry. So these kinds of interventions, the realization, say for example there is talk that in universities, young boys and girls should be made to sign on documents saying that dowry will not be taken or given. Parents at the time of admission. So there are all these talks. Whether they materialize into something concrete is a different thing. But the fact that there is an explosion of discourses around gender, around gender debates, around sexuality, around social evils like dowry, I think is a phenomenal transformation. Another very interesting thing that happened in 2021 was the way in which popular culture in Malayalam had to bear the brunt of many of these gender debates that were happening, because till now much of the popular cultural industry pretended that these things were not happening in Kerala. But Jio Baby's The Great Indian Kitchen, in a certain sense, made us realize that there is a terrible stench coming from not only our Indian kitchens, not only the Malayalis' kitchen, but also Kerala's popular terrain, So that film in that sense was seminal. It brought in a rupture in, of course it was middle class. Of course, many of the ground realities with regard to gender when it comes to marginalized sections, Dalits and other oppressed classes were not addressed as far as the film was concerned. But nevertheless, to say that there is a stench coming out of our kitchens, out of the invisible labor that has been rendered by our women, I think was an important step. Now the reason why I say that is important is because popular culture in Kerala has in a sense schooled our generations of people to think that feminism is something that is all about Western women trying to make Indian women uncultured in a certain sense. So it had all these stereotypes about what feminism was. It never thought of feminism as an empowering movement. So that stereotype has been largely unsettled, has been largely questioned and maybe shattered to smithereens by the kind of intervention that 2021 and this single film, and of course I'm sure that many of the films that will follow in its wake will have similar questions to make. The pandemic definitely has exacerbated gender issues, gender violences. Gender violence in the private domain, for example, large scale reporting of women being brutalized, of being beaten, domestic violence on the surge. While all this is happening, I concede that all this is happening, but alongside that, women are also gaining a certain kind of a voice to cry out and say that this is happening. So there is no way today that a largely patriarchal kind of educated person can say that I do not want to enter into these debates. So you have to, whether you like it or not, you become part and parcel of the numerous gender debates that are happening in Kerala today around, say for example, co-education, around issues of sexuality, around uniforms, around gender neutral uniforms, which are debates that are not taking in many other states in India, I think. Kerala in that sense has opened up a kind of a space where such things are being debated, are being thrashed out. Of course, there are very many regressive kinds of discourses around these issues, but I think that being said, the fact that it is being brought out, the fact that intersectional kinds of politics is also being, say for example, Deepa's Deepa Mohan in Gandhi University, speaking about a particular kind of oppression that happened to her as a Dalit woman within the portals of a largely patriarchal academia. I think those kinds of issues where women are taking up not only just gender, but the way in which gender is also complicated by caste, by class, by other factors, by sexuality. So all these are also being brought out into the open in 2021, and in that sense unfolded many of these narratives. Again, another very important event that unfolded in 2021 was Anupama's issue regarding her own baby that was given away for adoption without her permission. I think this has opened floodgates of controversy, but that's not the thing. The thing is that, right from 1792, when Mary Wollstonecraft wrote her Vindication of the Rights of Women, I think the question that was asked was always whether a woman had the moral right to do something. So this whole issue of morality around, women's agency, whether it is legitimate or illegitimate, whether it is moral or immoral, these questions were all thrown to the wind, I think, with the Anupama issue. A young woman saying that, okay, I had a baby out of wedlock, so what? I have the right over that baby. I have a certain kind of a claim that cannot be delegitimized by anybody. So I think that is again, this will be a historical juncture as far as Kerala's gender history is concerned, because this is a point when young women like Anupama begin to, begin to refuse to be part of other larger stories, other patriarchal narratives, and say that we have our own stories to narrate. So all these are complicated issues that have been opened up by the Anupama, the strong stand taken by a young woman, I think, and we cannot underestimate the importance of this event, because I think it has large scale ramifications as far as the future of Kerala is concerned, where more and more young women will lay claim to the kind of agency that Anupama has claimed, in stating that I'm not bothered about your moral narratives. As far as I'm concerned, this is the specific oppression that I underwent and I want recourse. So these are the kinds of very intersectional interventions that young women in Kerala made, and I would like to call them young revolutionaries in a certain sense, because what was not possible earlier has been made possible by them. Now when I say that, I also say that gender, this is again crucial to the change in the DNA structure that Malayalam Manorama is talking about, because the change, I think, is also that women like Anupama, women like Deepa Mohan have begun to speak out, and they refuse to be part of overarching, mainstream feminist resistances. To lay claim to that, very, very overarching kind of paradigm is not their project at all. I think each woman is also responding to the very specific locations of oppression, the very specificities of their own oppressions, and they refuse to be, again, either be scripted by patriarchy or by larger feminist, overarching mainstream feminist projects, which I think is again wonderful, because feminism is all about multiplicity, because the oppression that I undergo as a woman is not the oppression that somebody else undergoes, which is further complicated by a number of issues. So this is where the structure, the DNA structure of Kerala has been altered by young women, by women's aspirations, by women's desires in all these places, even as women write themselves back. At the same time, more than anything else, it is also small voices, little feminisms, if I can call it that, small voices, ordinary women speaking out against oppression, writing their narratives into public domain. I think that is a change, that is a structural change that has happened in 2021.